Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Earthlings team for the Earthlings Super Battle Road stage that has been added into the DBZ Dokkan Battle Road stages for the latest update. So for the Earthlings category, we've gone for an entirely free-to-play team here, which comprises of Master Roshi, Krillin, Oob, Hercule, and of course we have the Master Roshi and Tien unit as well. And yeah, we have a pretty decent lineup here. They don't necessarily link all the best together. A lot of them generate their own ki. Hercule, for example, generates a random amount of ki. Krillin generates amounts of ki based on how many enemies he's facing. Master Roshi also generates his own ki and provides the support to Turtle School units. So overall, the team and this stage itself, generally speaking, doesn't pose too many problems to us. It's quite easy to do as a free-to-play team. You do need to invest some currency. You'll have to obviously pay for the Zeni for Hercule, which is something that's very important. He costs quite a lot of Zeni, I think over 200 million Zeni, if I'm correct, if you want to get everything done without, spending any Kais or anything. So Hercule costs quite a bit of money. Then, of course, we have Oob, who costs battlefield currency, which, isn't so bad, but obviously is something that we do need to be aware of. So for new players, you'll get his currency from the Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. Then Krillin is a Prime Battle unit. He doesn't have an Easy A yet, but Krillin can be received by farming him from the Prime Battle stages and farming his medals. He's also quite a grind. He takes 777 medals. He's also the Earthlings lead. If you're looking for an Earthlings sub-lead, your best option is going to be to go for the Physical Tien, who is a Majin Buu Saga super support. We have the Master Roshi and Tien, who both got a Easy A from the anniversary, and they're pretty damn good. So they're going to obviously be really reliable. They're great as a floating unit. They are great as a support unit. They're great as a main rotation unit. They gain a lot of power after being hit, so they're a very viable option. We also have the Master Roshi, a really powerful unit, and our biggest offensive deal. He's probably the best unit on the team, pretty much. And he's going to be super duper reliable. He provides a stun, which is very good on his 12 ki, but more importantly, he provides a guaranteed seal on his 18 ki, which is really going to help us get some control in all of these fights. Alongside him currently, but not too long in the future, we have the Majin Buu and Hercule unit. They are going to be in rotation with Hercule. They don't share a lot of links, they only really share 3 links, but it's still a pretty decent rotation. Hercule and Buu have damage reduction and some evasion, which makes them somewhat okay defensively in their first form, but you gain health back and you get a very powerful unit in the form of Buu once you can activate the exchange mechanic into Buu, which is super duper helpful as well. We also have a seal/stun effect on Master Tien and Roshi with attack lowering and defense lowering. Plus, we also have the stun from the 12 keys of the Krillin units if we need them. So from what you're obviously hearing, we have a lot of utility. With AoE stuns on both Krillin units, a seal and a potential stun on the 12 key of Master Roshi, along with also having, just the general attack lowering of the AGL, Hercule and Buu, along with obviously the massive amounts of utility that Master Roshi and Tien provide, and the attack lowering on Oob. We have a lot of utility to control the fights. Oob also provides a heal for us, which is excellent. When we get below a certain threshold, he'll be providing some pretty good healing capabilities as well, which always will be pretty good. So that's pretty helpful overall, and you can see in that first fight we didn't really have any problems whatsoever. So yeah, we'll move on to the second stage. Obviously the biggest threat in the stage is probably the Strength Kibito Kai. We have a lot of physical units in the form of Master Roshi, Krillin, and Krillin, which is a bit of a problem. He also has a Int Supreme Kai, who is kind of also a problem because, well, surprise, surprise, he is a big threat to Hercule and to, of course, Oob, which is, a bit of a problem. So yeah, they, both threats, technically. I still think Kibito Kai is probably or Kibito, I should say. It's not Kibito Kai. But Kibito is probably the biggest threat overall. Hercule, he has evasion, which obviously does help him to a certain extent. But yeah, Oob is definitely a weak point, especially against the Int, Supreme Kai. You can opt, of course, to try and control the Supreme Kai, which is also an option, or take out Supreme Kai by focusing in on Supreme Kai and doing as much damage as possible to them. That way you can kind of obviously eliminate them quickly, which also helps. But you can see here we've tried to obviously control or get rid of the Kibito first, just because of that threat he poses to a majority of our units. Of course, Master Roshi we're going to use to seal up the Supreme Kai, hopefully to prevent him attacking, and obviously to stop him potentially supering Hercule or just anyone in general, really. And that should really help us out. Master Roshi is a pretty rock solid unit, obviously a huge damage dealer for us. You should have him built all crit as well, so he should do some really, really good damage. And the seal that he does is just going to really protect a lot of our units. You can see here we've got Krillin doing some decent damage as well. Krillin, honestly, I probably should have used the 12 key a lot more. I think using the 12 key to get an AoE stun and being able to control the fights a bit better probably would have been a good call. Would have allowed us to just get a lot more done, which I think is really, really good. Here you'll see we get the transformation for good old Hercule and Buu, which is always helpful. And yeah, Buu is very strong. Buu has a stun chance, which is obviously really good. But Buu also has, really good defense, as you can see there. So you can see here, Buu gives all Majin Buu category allies a lot more, power and support. He also has guarding ability. He's just very good overall. So Buu, for me, definitely a worthwhile transformation. I think it's a unit a lot of people don't rate enough, possibly just due to the damage that they take in the Hercule and Buu form. But yeah, really, really incredible unit. So from my end, someone I'm very happy to bring across, and he's going to do a lot of work for us here. We're going to get the AoE attack. We couldn't avoid the Dokkan attack, obviously. So we're going to get the AoE attack with Buu, and that's going to just help us essentially take down these guys a lot faster. So Buu here will get the Dokkan attack. Probably a decent attack stat there. I mean, you can see it at the bottom, so not too bad. And then we should be able to, hopefully get rid of one of the units. We don't really manage to, but we get the double super attack, which is good on Buu since he temporarily raises his defense. You can see here we're not taking that much damage, especially after, taking some attacks. We've got Oob, who hopefully will finish off Kibito, and then that will mean we only have to deal with the, Supreme Kai, which is a lot easier to do when there's only one unit, because it just obviously helps us keep control and just obviously keep them in control. Again, using Krillin's stuns is probably a much better idea. If you are struggling, you can always revert back to letting Krillin try and get stuns off of his 12 key. It is probably better, but the increased damage from his 18 key is pretty helpful. Especially when we don't have a lot of other massive damage dealers. Oob doesn't deal huge damage. Hercule can deal okay damage. Hercule and Buu only really deal good damage once they are transformed. So between the Krillins and the Master Roshi, that's a lot or a large amount of your damage. So yeah, generally speaking, just something we do want to obviously try and keep control of. Hercule here, gonna do some good work. Hercule does have a chance to stun as well. Hercule's a bit of a strange unit, not really one that I've used too much, but he seems to be doing a good job overall. He had a very good easy A, it's just been very difficult to slot him onto a team, but he's a powerful unit for the Earthlings category team. Good defense, good attack stats, and yeah, he can stack that continuously. Some other notable Earthling units that you're going to want to use. So, I mentioned before the sub-lead Tien is pretty good. He has a stun ability. He's a Majin Buu Saga support, which a lot of Earthlings units are. And yeah, he's just very, very solid. Great link set. Then you obviously have Videl, super duper powerful Earthlings unit. Obviously does better generally with Pepe Girls or with the Defenders of Justice team, but she'll still do very, very well on a Earthlings team. And yeah, the Int Hercule is pretty good as well. He, has that damage reduction. He has a high chance of evasion. He does have the slight chance to stun as well. So overall, he's got some interesting mechanics. Very, very excellent defensive unit. So if you're struggling, if you need a defensive wall, that Int Hercule's good, not just in this stage, but pretty much in any stage, really. He is an incredible defensive unit because he just gets greater damage reduction the more health goes down. He has evasion. He's just very, very good. So yeah, Hercule, Tien, Videl, those are going to be the number one Earthlings that you can use. There's not too many other ones. There's like Jackie Chun and some World Tournament units like Chi-Chi, Jackie Chun, but a lot of these are dependent on either World Tournament units or are dependent on having like Gokus in the team, like Chi-Chi. I mean, there's a great physical kid Chi-Chi, but she needs a kid Goku to really be good. Same with, the strength Chi-Chi, she's great, but on a Pepe Girls team. So there are pretty good units, just they're going to be locked out a little bit from the team build. But overall, solid. I think this free-to-play team works fine. It is quite a bit of an investment, and for those of you who don't have Master Roshi, you're not going to be able to get him for a while. Same with Tien and Roshi here. So yeah, you're definitely going to need to maybe be a bit patient. You're not going to be able to get them just yet. So yeah, that is one downside to the team. A lot of its free-to-play components aren't necessarily currently out. So that is a bit hard to take. Of course, we've managed to keep control of the fight quite substantially. Beerus, we're focusing on from an AGL perspective. No particular reason here. We don't necessarily have any component of our team that I would say is necessarily weak to any of these guys. We don't have a strength unit. We don't, necessarily have a AGL unit, except for Hercule and Buu, but they should be fine considering we have items. We've been using damage reduction. Obviously, things can change depending on, what your situation looks like and who you're using and what you're using them for. But for the most part, we have managed to keep quite a good level of control throughout the entire fight. I mean, you look at, Weesia, he's going to be now attack lowered. He's been stunned. Everything's moving very smoothly. And I think that gives us pretty good control. Obviously, one thing to keep in mind is just units like Hercule. You can get a little bit unlucky in terms of the key that he gets, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. You shouldn't have that many problems, in terms of Hercule, in terms of anything like that. So from that perspective, I think, everything's good. I think the team runs well, and I think the stage was relatively easy. Let me know in your thoughts down below what you think about the team. Are you struggling? Which free-to-play units are you not able to get? and maybe I can assist you in getting those. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.